omens. Give me sight beyond sight. Beyond sight. Beyond sight.
Welcome to the Sight Beyond Sight podcast, Friday, January 8th, 2021. And here's your hosts, Nick and Andrew.
What's up?
Yo.
How's everyone doing?
We're going good.
Today we're going to talk about The Mandalorian, and I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves, starting with Angelo over here.
Well, you just introduced me.
Now I got a point there.
Paul Doran.
I'm Gina Bliss.
And as Andrew always say, you know what?
And so I'll start with Angelo. What did you think about both seasons of The Mandalorian?
Before we talk about the last episode, let's go back to the beginning.
Yes.
Before The Mandalorian, aired, we were all just wishing we were all thinking about the worst. Star Wars really hadn't delivered.
True.
And The Mandalorian was sacred to so many of us. So many of us. And I'm gonna jump around for a quick second here to when The Dark Knight premiered.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna understand in a minute.
Okay.
They said Heath Ledger was the Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another beloved character, and you're kind of like, what are they gonna do with this? So, The Dark Knight happens. When the Joker premiered, and he says, basically, I'm sitting in the theater going, I don't know how this is going to go. And then he says, I don't know what's going on. I'm just the guy that killed the bus driver. And I was hooked on the movie. Because the way they set that movie up was fantastic. So, Mandalorian premiere. Bar scene, cantina. I'm sorry, we're talking Star Wars. It's always a cantina. Cantina, Mandalorian walks in. It's like a bad joke. A Mandalorian walks into a bar. Sorry, cantina. And fight ensues. Guy gets cut in half by a door. I'm like, I'm in. I'm in. And for all the mistakes and for all the things that people, gripe about, you have to understand that it's been a fantastic show.
Amazing.
And it could not have been. It could not have been. It could have been a steaming pile.
Which would have been very, very sad and disappointing.
But I just want to go all the way back to the beginning and just say that right from that scene, I'm on board. I'm completely hooked on the series. I watch it, even when there's like the slow spots, even when there's spots, we're not going to talk about repainting armor. We're just going to talk about, the good
I feel like that's
things.
going to come out.
Well, we can talk about the bad things after the good things.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
There's one thing that I don't like about the show, but I could go past that. But we'll go to you. So what do you think about it?
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't need a Dark Knight reference.
Thank you.
But with the previews, I dug the Western theme that they had going on.
Yeah.
Space Western is a rare genre.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was going to get applied to Star Wars.
Firefly.
Yes, Firefly. But with the sequel trilogy that came out, I had a lot of doubt. But behind all those movies, you had Solo, you had Rogue One, that really had fan service and really catered towards the people that would really like the true diehard fans.
Yeah.
And so I think those movies were the catalyst for the kind of direction they were going to go with The Mandalorian. And if it wasn't for Jon Favreau, is
the man.
He's the man.
And
He's why he's called happy.
no, he birthed the MCU.
Yeah.
And he's doing this relaunch, which is essentially because when Disney took over the franchise, they took everything that everyone already grew up on past the original trilogy, and they called it the Legacy.
Yeah.
Star Wars Legacy.
Yeah.
But that's what everybody was waiting on. And that's what created the fan base when the movies were already long gone. And that's what was keeping people going. So season 1 was great. I loved the way they told the story. To our generation that grew up on video games and comics and all that, this was it followed that same type of format. You know,
Yeah.
the lone hero walks in with barely next to nothing. He accrues more equipment, more enemies to face, and
Boss
everything.
battles.
We're having boss battles.
Yeah, a lot
Everything.
of boss battles.
And the real, I mean, aside from the child, the real strength of the show is those little bits, those little tiny bits of fan service that they put in there.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're letting the audience know, it's like, hey, no, we're paying attention. You know, we care about these little things about it, and that goes such a long way. But I mean, I'm dying to see season 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me
Season
too.
3 has so much potential.
And all the
Yeah.
spin-offs.
All the
Yeah.
spin-offs, yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, you dug at the spin like one. You got
I'm
gonna
gonna
get
go
Mandalorian and
so
Boba
bad.
Fett in the same month. It's gonna be crazy.
So me and Paul were talking about how it's going to be kind of framed, and I think that we came up with it's going to be the Star Wars and The Wire.
Yes.
And you can elaborate
Yo.
on that.
And
It's gonna be
those
the-
takes are crazy. I'm just realizing this shit. It's going everywhere.
I'm telling you, it's just all cultural reference because what we were talking about is they're going to basically doing the criminal underground.
Yep.
Is where we think the directions. Where we think the directions.
I
Going
mean,
to
it
go.
makes sense when you look at how Boba Fett ended going sitting on the throne and all that.
I want that picture
Yeah.
so bad.
There's such. All right, this is where the.
I want that tattoo.
Well, this is where you see a lot of like the fan service you're gonna get. Rogue One kind of set up season 3 without people really realizing it.
Yeah,
Because the Black Sun or Syndicate
yeah,
supersedes the Hutts
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
So the big fish, I mean the small fish in the big pond concept is going to happen. He's going to work his way up.
yeah.
But this, I mean, I couldn't think of a better progression for Boba Fett
Oh yeah.
than Criminal Warlord.
Since you're gonna make fun of me, Andrew, I'm gonna lean into it.
Gotta do it.
The moment where he sits on the throne, all Conan like, I was like,
Yes.
yep,
Yes.
yep, that's the way we're going.
That's awesome.
I love the references. It's just mad funny. Like if you really look at it, like it's accurate references in a certain way when he explains it. So I can't get mad. You want me to go? You want
Yeah.
me to go?
Oh, there you go. Great stuff.
Sorry for what you said.
Okay, well, to be completely honest, I was never a giant Star Wars fan. I do like the first 3 movies, and I'm not talking about that bullshit where, I'm talking about the real first movie.
Yeah, yeah.
The other ones where,
The actual
Natalie
first
Portman
movies.
stays the same age and the kid grows up and they, become a couple.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Right? It's ridiculous. But I have to say that I love The Mandalorian. It
Yeah.
actually got me really into it, and I'm really looking forward to the next season. But I know everybody loves Baby Yoda and he's so cute, but Bill Burr is my spirit animal. And what I liked about it is all of the action and everything. It was very believable. Like it wasn't like some crazy stuff they were doing that was completely impossible, but they got away with it because it's the show.
Yeah.
It was all very believable stunt work, and it's just overall really great show.
Yeah, the action was really, really good. Andrew?
Oh, it's my turn. I love the show. Obviously, like everybody else here, this is a very one-sided fucking podcast.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was amazing. I love the build of the character. When they first debuted, they was thinking Boba Fett. When they looked at him, because he looks basically like Boba Fett, comes off being his own person, had his own personality, own build. Like character build is something that I look for in a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And I love the way it just shows he was such a militant mindset. I don't take this helmet off. I don't do this. I don't do that. He fell in love with this freaking little green thing that was like Yoda. And it's just it was an amazing build. I love how they have the extra side characters Carl Weathers, who's in there. He's one of my favorite actors. I forgot the chick's name. She was an ex-MMA fighter, but she's hot.
Jennifer.
She killed it.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think a lot of the things that it was just it felt too smooth.
Yeah.
They just knew how you just watched Last Jedi and then Rise of Skywalker, but we got this in the cut that you're gonna love. Because the way those movies played out, it was just insane. But there's just so much. At the end of season 1, when you got the Black Saber, who would have thought that was gonna happen?
That was
you would
fucking
think at the end of how
amazing.
season 2 ended, nobody was thinking Black Saber.
Yeah.
At the end of season 1, the way they just play out everything is just insane. So I mean, honestly, it's just an amazing show. It's something that I need the 3rd season ASAP. I know it's December, but basically, yeah, let's get that and keep it going. You know what I mean? Let's go.
Hold on, I got a question for Andrew.
What's up?
So, because you were talking about character development,
Yeah.
and I think it's really, really interesting because the whole thing they allude to it where the owls, she says, "I have to take the dark saber," because from watching the Clone Wars, you have to win it in battle and everything. So the fact that he gets it, as soon as he walked in with it out, I was like, yep, okay, that's the way they're going.
Yeah.
Not exactly, but I like the whole he doesn't want the responsibility.
Because he's not.
And he's like, here, take it. I don't want it.
Yeah.
And then literally there's 4 people in the room. He's like, everyone here agree that she won it? Okay, we're done with this. But no, I think they're going to go in a direction where he has to be the one. And it's always interesting. The people that seek power are least deserving of it. She's so hungry for it.
Yes.
It's going to be really, really interesting to see him have to handle that responsibility because he doesn't want it. And I like watching people have to do crap that they don't want to do.
It's gonna be.
I mean, you're gonna get that. I mean, like honestly, like there's that part of me when it happened. I was like, oh, he's gonna fight this chick in the 3rd season. Like Bo-Katan and him is gonna fight. Like you're gonna see a lot of things. Like the 3rd season, the way they did the season 2, it left too much to not have like at least another Ahsoka episode. At least like you gotta have these people still somewhat maybe come back, a reference to them and all of that. Yeah, I know she's getting the spin off, but
how awesome was she?
Yeah, definitely.
She was super awesome.
Yeah. Oh, with Rosario Dawson, I'm trying to marry you. I give you the same. I got your first name's my last name. So it is what it is.
You don't even need to change the names.
But you killed it. Loved it. Like I was even like that.
Man, I totally agree because that show got me like watching it. And again, I being a Star Wars fan, I was just like, oh my god! Like watching the 1st season and binging it, I was like, holy crap! Like that's crazy how good they did. And it goes back to like, why couldn't you put this effort into the movies where we want to see this on a big. Well, back then we wanted to see it on the big screen. Can't really do shit now. But it's almost like every single thing about the show. But I wanted to bring up the bad in it only because. Like he said with the Boba Fett repainting it, I was just like, nah, you're supposed to have the war torn, keep the hurt there. You know what I'm saying? It's like having battle scars almost with the armor. Yeah. So that was one thing, but I was telling him and even after the 1st season, Baby Yoda was a genius character because that's where you get a lot, and especially, no offense, but like the girls in because they say cute little dog.
Oh no, it's true. It's absolutely true, and it's great for marketing. He doesn't want that stuffed animal all the time.
The only thing I did not like about Baby Yoda, everything else was fantastic, but I always thought like, okay, Yoda's species lived for so long, and he's supposed to be a 50-year-old. Like that was the whole thing about like when they were finding it's a 50-year-old thing and blah blah blah. But it's a baby. I was thinking that it was a 50-year-old mind in a baby's body because if Yoda was 500, but if they're aging, they just age slower, but their mindset is the same. It kind of loses the wisdom that Yoda should have had.
So it's like cat years, except
Yoda years. So like
I get it.
Yoda being 500 is really him being 50, so his wisdom really isn't as much more than a 50-year-old man.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that took me out of it, but everything else I was like,
the thing about that is like, but you didn't pay the Fallen Order type shit. I'll use that as a reference. Like the forgetting how to use the Force and doing all of that. Like there was a little bit to it. Like that's why like when you seen when Luke came, and you could see how he was feeling it and all of that.
Awesome.
Like it's all there. Like it's that build to it.
I can't. I'll get to this. We'll get to this.
But I'll let my man Paul jump in because I don't really have that much to say. I was just pointing out that one.
No. This what he's setting up is one of the big things why we kind of wanted to do this.
All right. Go right ahead.
The last scene. With Luke, and I'll let you do yours.
No, all right. All right. You like the?
I liked it because it was one of those, and don't get me wrong, it was very reminiscent of Rogue One Darth Vader scene.
Yes.
And that's almost like I felt like, okay, is it like a callback, like father son kind of thing, and he's coming in doing the same thing. But it's just like as a fan, and I like Luke, just to see him come in like, he's in the show, yes. And then taking Baby Yoda, and that's why I want a Luke spinoff because I want to see, like, I have to know where Baby Yoda goes.
Yeah.
Like, I would, even though I like comic books and shit like that, if you want to make a comic book about it, like when he's older, Baby Yoda, and fucking shit up, but yeah.
No, we're gonna keep calling Baby Yoda.
I want to see why you didn't like it. It's interesting.
Name is very hard to remember.
I don't care for it.
Yeah.
But he's been known as Baby Yoda until like episode 8.
Can't go that.
It doesn't roll off well.
It does
Nah,
not.
Goku does not.
But you know what? It's not bad name.
It's not bad. It's just
It just sounds like some Dragon Ball shit, and I don't care for
Definitely,
it.
damn, she killing
Goku.
but
that's a whole other podcast. That's a whole other
but
podcast.
yeah, it does come off like a little bit of a Japanese type name, where it's like that random, like, why does syllables sound like it sounds weird?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. You know, I'd rather have that than have him be Baby Yoda forever because then he doesn't have his own fucking identity. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's that thing. You know.
And then he'll be Teenage Mutant Ninja Yoda.
No, I didn't have a problem with the scene overall.
Yeah.
What I didn't like was the pacing of it. The pacing didn't really match what was really going on, and especially didn't match his level of skill.
True.
At that time, this is post Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I don't know how many years.
Isn't it after? It's after Rebels, obviously.
It's definitely after
Rogue
Rogue
One.
Like, to break it down as years wise would be fair and insane.
Yeah, because
but
they're saying Ezra was supposed to be like, well, that's why like Ahsoka's more of an adult.
Yeah.
But I think it's like 5 years after Rebels.
because Ahsoka was adult in Rebels.
Yeah, she was.
15, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, his powers must have magnified a lot because you went from training with Yoda to now feeling another Jedi from halfway across the damn universe. So, all right. Now, the problem with that was they kind of like showed everything right off the bat. And then his pacing was a lot slower than what his ability should have really had.
Yeah.
The robots themselves kind of, the way they, first off, can I put a shout out, a little fan moment for that?
Go ahead.
The Dark Troopers.
Yes.
Now, this is where you got to go really deep down the rabbit hole. This is, what was it? Star Wars Dark Forces was a first-person shooter PC game. This is what using the Doom engine, like type thing. Like, we're talking like back.
That's crazy because I had no idea about
That's
that.
how far back those dark. The concept of robotic stormtroopers was that far back, and those exact models they were using was a very obscure Star Wars Galaxy Divided. It was the first MMO that they ever did.
Okay.
And that's when they really showed the different versions of the robots and everything like that. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh my god, there's some real fans on that writing staff. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All right, so back to that. So the way they were acting prior to them, they were more aggressive. They were more intelligent. They were more of that. The second they put that, they were all just dumb robots. Literally marching to the look, here's a Jedi. Let me walk head first into him.
At that scene. All right, I get what you
know what I mean.
Yeah.
You saw them like, in the episode before. They came down like Iron Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Very agile, very this, very that. With all that already in knowledge about Jedis, the Empire would have had those robots
a little bit more. Yeah. I get what you mean. Because that showed it. Like when you say that, like thinking about it, it's true. Because the way Mando like took them and beat basically all of them, and they just flew back like it was nothing. That kind of thing. Like, oh, damn, that was awesome. I gotta rewatch this. But
I would have liked more suspense. I would have liked that in the camera you keep seeing him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done that. The whole show, even the Mandalorian himself. I always forget it.
I keep forgetting his actor name too, his real name. Just call him the Mandalorian. I was referencing in my other podcast. I was referencing him as the Mandalorian since he was in Wonder Woman. So it was just like,
that's right, he's in that.
Dude, I know his name. It's the guy from Game of Thrones.
It's Pedro Pascal.
Yeah,
that's the only part I remember is Pedro because
you're gonna put that.
I remember that.
Yes.
He was also in Game of Thrones, by the way.
Yeah,
but
Game of Thrones part I have no idea. I'm the outcast on that shit.
Oh yeah, I can talk about that. Yeah. We'll have another podcast.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to show the mystery of it, because remember, even the Mandalorian himself doesn't know about the Jedi, because it wasn't that common knowledge. Everyone believes it's common knowledge because the movies are showing him front and center.
But by that time, because if you think about what was it, Return of the Jedi, it really was like Darth Vader, and then it was just like, what the hell are Jedi? Nobody knew about it because everyone was either dead or hiding.
Anybody who would know about the Jedi on Coruscant.
Yeah.
Coruscant's a citywide planet with many city levels below.
Yeah.
You understand the number of people that is? You know what I mean? And the Jedi are a handful. They're a grain of sand.
Compared to that.
Billions and billions and
I don't
trillions
like
of people
sand.
all over.
Why you gotta make that reference?
But
Fucking Anakin.
so for the mystery of the thing, I would have done the showing the X-wing coming in.
Yeah.
And you get that little thing, and that's cool. Little ear twitch from Go.
Go.
Like,
Go.
Go.
Yeah.
Go.
Little baby Go. Little baby Goku.
I gotta make a shirt that says Go Groot. Go get your Groot.
Just picture little baby Yoda with the gold Super Saiyan. But
some spiky hair.
I would have done a for real more of a homage to Rogue One and the Darth Vader scene by having him literally tear them apart in that hallway,
slowly
and then let them claw in. Show like now imagine them looking at the door the way they were, right?
Yeah.
As soon as that guy, the first robot, comes in to reach out and everything like that, you start seeing it compress on itself and everything like that.
Yeah.
Then the doors open. Then you see the green saber and all that. You wait for that last bit of suspension towards the end. You knew it was Luke right off the bat. You know, you saw the hand, you saw the glove, and everything like that. It was all these little.
Well, the X-wing gave it away.
Yeah, the X-wing definitely gave it away.
Now,
you still would have had confused people, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some people would have not believed it would have been Luke because nobody would.
I watched it with those people.
Ooh.
I watched it with people who weren't as into Star Wars, and the X-wing comes in, and the line is, "Oh, great! They sent a single X-wing," and I'm going, "Oh!" And they're like, "What? It's what?" I'm like, "Do you know who? What Jedi flies an X-wing?" And they're just like looking at me blank faces, and I had to sit there alone in a room full of people, COVID, 6 feet, but and no one else knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So I agree with everything you said. The one thing that I would do to add to the suspension, or to the suspense, is English isn't my first language. Is all right. So we already see Mando get handled by one.
Yeah. He
basically closes the doors and basically Queen aliens the rest of them out into space, right?
He does.
And so he can't handle one. So they're all stacked up. I thought that looking like Team Fortress bad guys, you know, the big robots.
Yeah.
So I thought what would be really interesting is the X-Wing comes in and it's a hive AI. So they go and they're threat assessing. They're like, all right, we have X amount of fighters in here. We're going to peel 4 off, and the last 4 in that stack turn and leave. And yeah, they could be rock'em sock'em roboting the door for forever.
Oh yeah, that shit was
But
funny.
what they're building to, the suspense that they're building to is they can't stop that. They can't stop that. That's an movable object versus an unstoppable force type of thing.
Yeah.
They're all just kind of done. So then, as they're banging, now the doors open part way. They're shooting. They're starting to have it, and they're not having any effect on them at all. So the door's like half open, and then all of a sudden you see another 4 turn and peel off, and like they stop, like kind of what was it you said before Iron Man, like the Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
See, I got your references, baby. Don't worry.
Reference King.
Keep it going. I'm gonna keep throwing them out.
Like Angelo topped me all day.
So those 4 are gonna keep going back, and then they keep going. So now all of a sudden the doors are now completely open. They're throwing everything they have at it, and then not even stopping them. They're just coming right in, and then all of a sudden they stop and they turn around and they leave, and they all just look at each other and they're like, "What's going on?" Now you look down the hallway, and now you have your Rogue One-esque green saber just going to town, and then all of a sudden he shows up and they're like, "Oh, we couldn't even mess with one of these," and he just walked through all of them.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand the whole, some people have already been talking about, oh, they're watching it on the screen because that's how you kind of interact with it, so it's like, but I agree completely. You don't need to see him walking through.
Yeah, no, you don't.
You don't need to see that. You could have done, and you know what? I always think that Star Wars goes way too deep on there has to be people running around a space station and then they have to meet on 2 levels. We have to do this. No. That's redoing the same thing. That's rehashing. If you want to do an homage, if you want to do a nod, and you can do it subtle where people go, if you just did one hallway shot where he was coming down, people would be like, okay, All right, it's the Vader scene. This is awesome. That's all you had to do. They didn't have to do it so heavy-handed.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I'll say before I toss it off is, it kind of shows he's in black. We know he's already kind of dark side, not dark side, or whatever. And he does the choke. He does do the choke, the force choke, where he crushes the whole robot.
Yes.
So I agree with you saying that's a display of his power at that level where this thing is supposed to be kind of like, nigh invincible, and he's just like, nothing, like that. But that would have been a way better way to kind of do the nod to the scene.
Yeah.
And also show that they were entirely helpless.
Yes.
They were completely helpless, and he's literally like not even breathing hard when he's standing there in the gate.
Yeah.
And then if we're going to talk CGI, if you would have kept his hood down, I got my Jedi hood down, if he would have just kept his hood down, he didn't have to lift it up. It would have been another, is he dark side? Is he somewhere in the middle?
No. Yeah, that would have been better, but it's just like you said, sometimes they go too far with the, look guys, it's Luke.
Yeah,
like
but-
you got to see his face now. And it's just like, no.
Yeah, but if
Just
you see his
witness
face
him.
just underlit with a green lightsaber, that would have been a great scene.
That would have been great. It's awesome, but like they haven't announced it yet. It's most likely going to happen. There will be a Luke show, and the guy who plays Winter Soldier,
the Winter Jedi.
Oh,
freakishly looks just like Luke.
Yeah.
in a weird
It's just
way.
so weird. I'm
so
surprised
that's why I
that
think
it's
they're kind
still
of
owned
leaning
by.
towards a little bit.
They're
Maybe
both
they
owned by
get
Disney.
that
Why
back.
didn't you just have him come in there
But the
first?
one-
Because they want to make sure it works. We
But the-
got to get Falcon Soldier first.
the thing I don't think it might be him though is they used the deep fake. That horrible deep fake. Shame on you, Disney. Shame on you. Whoever made that, shame on you. Go to some hole and sit there till you think about what you did.
Especially when other people that are not getting paid the bajillion dollars did it so much better
Here's something you
in
guys see
their
that
free
video.
time.
There's a guy sitting by himself. Okay, by himself did a better in COVID, surrounded by a cloud of COVID.
Goddamn pandemic.
Did a better deep fake.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. I have to
And
check that.
he went over every Star Wars film that tried the deep fake. Like,
Do the side by side. It's amazing.
He did a solo with using Harrison Ford's face on the guy himself, and it's just impeccable. Like,
Next time we'll actually have his name to give him a shout out.
Yeah.
My
bad.
That guy.
Who's got the internet in their pockets? Find that.
I'll look him up right now.
It just sounds amazing and shit. But let's see. I'm gonna go to Nick right now. What are you looking for in season 3? What do you want?
What I want, of course, I want to. There's a couple things I want. Besides, of course, a little hints. Like I don't want Ahsoka too much in it. I'm happy that Goku's gone.
Mhm.
I don't think you need to bring him back. Maybe you could do like a little, wherever is he kind of thing, and
Yeah,
show
yeah,
him
yeah,
on a
yeah,
different
yeah,
planet. But what I want with him, it's that the dynamic now that he's basically the leader of the Mandalorians who don't want it.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the biggest conflict besides the Empire, and it's kind of like those are the two main things I only want to see. Like I don't think, especially now in this day, like you've done everything so far, and Thrawn is going to be in it.
I was about to mention
You
that.
think
Yeah.
he's gonna be in it?
No,
They're not gonna hold him off until it's.
No,
Ahsoka?
they name dropped him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know they name
Yeah.
dropped them, but they name dropped them in the Ahsoka episode, so I would have figured they would have just left that for that show.
Well, he could, because he's basically, remember in the original movies where there's always like a general.
There's always a
of
general.
the-
Listen,
but
there's
this-
a Sith, and then there's like 3 generals. They got one gets choked
No,
out.
but this one in
So there's one left.
in the legacy shit, like there was a book before they
The
made
trilogy.
like what?
Thrawn trilogy.
Yeah, the Thrawn trilogy. The reason why he's so popular is because he's like a super strategist.
Alright.
And then there's a thing like he looks at art, and then he interprets it in a certain way, right? Like
Well, it's also where he's alien. And
he's blue with red eyes.
The chiss. I mean, the fact that a non-human rose all the way to that prominence shows the level of badassery that this guy possesses.
Yeah.
So
He'll still have a British accent. Don't worry.
oh, most definitely.
You have to though. You got if you're gonna be an evil guy, you gotta have a
Great British
yeah.
accent. Like, listen, the guy who played, wow, I can't remember his name. I'm trying to get to my phone. Homeboy homeboy that had the Darksaber in Breaking Bad, the bad guy.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, but wow, you just hit his whole name, and I haven't heard nobody say that.
He looks
But
like a
him,
California raisin.
amazing actor. and how
I'm going to show you a picture like next to each other.
That was
It
awesome.
But nah, he's
does. It does. I'll find a picture because I sent it to my kid and he said the same thing.
Yeah.
Make sure she talks into the mic.
There's a good chance that he does look
He
like a
looks like the
raisin.
California.
But nah, I love him as an actor, and that's one of
But
the
yeah,
things.
he's an amazing actor.
Yeah.
But he still looks like the California.
So, I mean, we got what the Spanish crew, so now we might get a British crew. Like, yo, guess what? Americans, I just want to let y'all know, y'all actors suck. Half of the shit we watch are from British actors who are doing English fucking
Accents.
Or from
accents.
Australia,
Or
absolutely.
Australian accents. So let it rock. Let's go. Whoever we saw.
Oh, we're talking about Throne.
What are you guys
We're talking
doing?
about Throne.
Well, we were talking about season 3 in general. Like,
Oh yeah. Well, that was my thing. Like, if he was gonna throw that at me, then I do want to see Thrawn.
yeah,
I want to see more of the black saber because god damn it, that's an awesome saber. And then of course the whole thing with him and Bo-Katan. But again, Thrawn is an awesome villain. So I guess go to you.
Well, what this leaves open also is it was the Crimson something trilogy. It dealt with one of those the Crimson Guard.
Okay.
There's a rank above that, Sovereign Detectives, or anything like that, right? It deals with one of the last ones. He was personally protecting the Emperor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it deals with like 2 of the last remaining ones. You could potentially see them. Another potential character that you can see is I can't remember her name. Khaleesi from Game of Thrones.
Khaleesi.
Khaleesi, the main character.
I just know the
Blondie.
I don't know what she
I don't
was
remember
saying.
her.
Oh, from Soul.
Huh?
Oh,
From
the
Solo.
she's
Yeah,
hot,
she was.
anyway.
All right, so she was in Solo. Her character's still alive.
Emily
And-
Clark.
Shit, she
Emily
wasn't
Clark,
so-
thank
Emily
you.
Clark.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah. Leave it up.
She's hot. I remember her.
Yes.
yeah, she's sexy as hell, yo.
Her character's still
She's
alive.
the mother of dragons.
Yes.
Mother of good cans.
Let's not get into
She's
that
the only one
argument,
good. Oh,
right?
she did die. Everybody with good boobs died on that show.
Yeah, and the
And
black
I'll give
girl
her that.
too.
Like,
Yeah.
yes,
Her-
great boobs, yes.
You know,
Starting
right
with
hand.
Robert Bethary.
Yeah, starting with Sean Bean. Sean Bean must die in everything that he's in.
But can I tell you where I definitely think I see it going though, since they're already announcing all the other shows without any preview or anything, is that I think this is ending up into a micro MCU.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
That all the shows are going to culminate into the like Thrawn is Thanos in this.
Ooh, you think that? That Thrawn?
That's actually a good take. That's interesting.
You're gonna feel his actions. You're gonna see the ramifications of such a thing and everything like that. But until all the characters come together to take this dude out,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh, that's a good thing.
Because that
Thrawn is
definitely
gonna
will
be
carry
badass.
it further. Because that's one of the reasons why I asked about season 3.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get an opinion because I was wondering, like, where do we go now? Like, we already
Well-
lost, everybody loves that little
But you know that
Google guy
there's
and everything,
always
you know?
one, and this they could throw Snoke in there, even though I know saying
Snoke's
his
not
name.
getting thrown in there. That's not good.
I know because maybe they want to forget it, but
No, I know how they'll link it up. They'll link it up with using the same storyline from the books when they had clones of the Emperor.
Okay.
Okay.
It was because the Camino cloning and all that for the troops and all that. They kept that tech.
yeah.
He kept bodies of himself there, and Snoke's what that, right? He's
That's pretty much what he was explaining. Like, at first they built him up as being his own
The
self,
super
and then
bad guy.
after they killed him for no reason in Last Jedi,
Ugh.
they were just like, all right, you know what? He's a fucking clone, and
Yeah.
this is how we're gonna do it, and da da da. And it was just like, all right, like I went to go watch Rise of Skywalker, and once the movie, like the first like maybe 15, 20 minutes, and it goes right to like you just know the Sith panic, you know Palpatine's there, you know the shit is already set. And you just create a character for 2 movies that have no purpose.
Yeah.
Like it was like I don't even want to talk about the movie because
Yeah,
those movies, those movies are hot garbage.
Yeah,
Like, you take
they're
a
hot
dumpster
garbage.
full of
Yeah.
Indian food,
Yeah.
and shove in shitty diapers,
There's
and you
only-
light that fucking
There's
thing
only
on fire.
one redeeming quality from that movie,
What's that?
and it's watching the Star
credits?
Destroyers
End credits?
just slow. It's watching the Star Destroyers, like this whole apparent fleet that they had amassed, just kind of rise. Like it's just a visual. It's just a visual that really shows the power of the Empire. They're just all coming up out of this like mist,
Yeah.
and it's on the big screen because I haven't been in a movie theater since then.
Yeah.
But they all coming up. I was just sitting there and I'm like, okay, this was worth all the nonsense I watched just to kind of see a couple of cool visuals. It looked really good. That was about it.
No, I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yes, I like what was it, Force Awakening, and I know people get mad because they say, "Oh, there's a lot of reference spots and things that were common to the original movies."
Yeah.
But you know what? It fucking worked. It actually worked. And then they went and I don't know what the hell this guy was thinking in the second one where Princess Leia started to fly like Wonder Woman. And out of nowhere, these bitches learned to fly.
Don't bring up
Like, every chick knows how to fly.
This is about to be a whole other podcast.
But no, that's what
No, that movie's hot garbage.
Yeah.
But that's what it was. Like that first movie gave a lot. Like it gave you the like I'm a Han Solo fan. Like he got killed. I was like, damn. Son, but I was like, I like how they did with Chewie. I like how they did every character in that shit in the first one when they were trying to do it. They built it right. They leave that teaser. Maybe it's not gonna be Rey being the Jedi, and it's gonna be Finn, and it's gonna be this and gonna be that. But it had so much potential to go into Last Jedi, and Last Jedi was just like drop the ball. Like that's the hardest definition of dropping a fucking ball. Like,
I thought we said we were going to talk about those movies. Let's get back.
I'm sorry, I'm just angry.
So,
you got me in there. I'm drinking.
Wait, before we call that off, because you're talking about making scenes in better, right? And I was telling Angelo about this before, and I was saying Force Awakens, the scene where they kind of screwed up, especially with Kylo Ren. And I was saying to him, I was just like, because you're doing a whole bunch of callbacks in that movie. Like you're doing this and this, but when I was watching it in the theater, I think we went together, whatever, and I was just like, the first time Kylo Ren came out and the first display of him stopping a blaster, to me was like, oh my god, like, you're trying to build him up to be the next Vader, like, almost too much, a little bit. But it's like, all right, he's trying to be a copycat. Like, you already know that he has a helmet with kind of Vaderish, kind of Darth Revan-ish, doing all that stuff. But I was just like, you never should have took off. You never should have took off the mask, right? Until the scene where you're going to kill Han. I said that the way you make that scene and you make powerful and make him irredeemable. Like, you want to make him the fucking villain no one likes. You don't want to make him a Vader. You want to make him a villain you want to see dead, but he's so powerful, no one could beat him. I was saying, like, have Han Solo do that whole speech to him. So take off that mask, blah, blah, blah. He takes off the mask, and he acts like, that's the whole thing. And when he was just like, yeah, I'm free, and then stabs him with the lightsaber, and then he, like, Han Solo does a thing like, I love you, and he falls. He should have said, I know, and pushed him, grabbed his helmet back with the Force, put it back on his head, and never take it off.
I like that better.
Because I was just like, you understand, you would have been hated but loved for that, that thing.
Nick, I want to give you credit because that's how you do a Star Wars callback.
Yes.
That's a powerful freak. When we were talking, like I got chills when he told me, and it was powerful. Like it's because that's a callback where people are like, but he did the thing we like, and he did it wrong. He's supposed to be, and then he killed him, and then that would have been a super emotional thing as opposed to this. So speaking of taking helmets off, to get back to the Mandalorian, I feel like when he, to call on Gina's spirit animal, the episode with Bill Burr, I feel like it cheapened the part. Spoilers. Do we even see spoilers on these things anymore?
Who gives a shit?
Honestly, by this time, if you haven't watched it yet, then
we don't care about it.
We do not care about how you feel right now.
So there's the moment where he's gonna take the helmet off and for Grogu.
Yeah.
But I feel like it doesn't mean anything because he already took the helmet off in the thing with Bill Burr.
But he took it off in season 1 too.
No, I understand that he did that, but that's your intro to the character. You hold it.
Know who it was.
I think what would have been really interesting is kind of to jump back to kind of like fixing scenes. If it had been the thing where he's doing the whole speech with the guy who's a bad guy in every Western, which I love. The gravelly voice guy. Yeah, the boys gotta die. And the soldiers, if he would have been doing the thing, and if he would have said, soldier, come here, and he's like, take off your helmet, and Pascal, the Mando just freezes and just looks at him, and Bill Burr's just like, bang! Boring conversation anyway. Like, that's another callback you could have done in that moment.
That would have been awesome.
It would have saved, but he could have done the whole, like, I was stationed in that, on that base, and that, we during that war. And that whole scene could have been happening when he was doing the info dump,
Yeah.
and then Bill Burr could have killed that guy to save him from taking off his helmet,
Yeah.
which would have been so much better than when he took the helmet off and he's got the tears and he's saying about Grogu. But the fact that he took it off and had it off for a while,
Yeah.
like he was sitting down having they were having
Lunch.
they had brunch or whatever, and lunch. But I feel like if he would have killed him to save him from taking his helmet off, it would have been so much better when he took his helmet off the other one. It just seemed like I was like, oh, he's taking his helmet off all the time now.
Yeah.
It definitely does have that repetitiveness of taking it off sooner or later for a purpose. But just kind of gotta let it be.
Something like that. Maybe.
Like, no, because there's scenes like, there was, I don't know if it was that episode, there was an episode that they show him and he's like holding food and it's like, how the fuck you gonna eat this nigga?
Smash into your fucking face.
So like, I get that, but I think that's one of the things when we talk about like taking off like Kylo Ren's mask and all these things where it's the same thing where I would bring the sports reference in, where it's like in football you don't really know the person because of the helmet on their head. Everything is always going to revert back to getting that face out there. You want to get this guy out there so everybody know who he is.
Yeah.
Like he's killing it. Like, oh, cool. Now you go do a shitty Wonder Woman movie. I gotta stop talking.
Quick shout out to all those actors that played roles that never took their helmet off.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Dredd,
because that's a very hard thing to
V
do.
for Vendetta.
V for Vendetta, Dredd. I mean, we can go around. There's very few, but I mean, they make a conscious decision to not Hollywood it. And I mean, if Venom's face has to peel back to show the guy from that 70s show, it's not necessary. Oh, we need enough screen time. I want my face out there enough. And you know what? I think it's really cool when they decide not to do. I mean, with the internet now, everyone knows who you are. Play that cool character that doesn't take
you don't have to show your face. Somebody's gonna Google you, see what it is, let it be. But they just gonna always do that because that's what it is in entertainment. Like that person's always gonna want their face time, that Photoshop, like. Hey,
but it's Hollywood.
Like, I don't give a shit, nigga.
It's all Hollywood's fault, though.
Character.
It's all Hollywood's fault. The more you get paid more for your face being on there, because then Hollywood would think that if you don't put your face on there, then anyone could be behind the mask and no one's gonna care. But it's like it's not true.
No, because there's dialogue and acting involved.
There's a spin-off that's going to be some New Republic Rangers or something like Republic.
Yeah, I think Rangers, but I wonder who that's going to be with.
I'll tell you two of the people I think it'll be. Cara Dune, played by Gina Carano, as one.
Oh yeah,
and I think they'll recruit Bill Burr's character. Oh, on that scene, there was another huge fan reference there to both Star Wars lore and Battlefront 2, the remake.
Okay.
Operation Cinder is what he referenced.
Oh shit.
That was in
Battlefront 2 on the PS4?
Yeah.
Shit, I gotta go home and play that. Man, fuck, I missed something.
But he name drops Operation Cinder, which is one of the huge moments in that story.
I didn't finish the whole storyline. I'll be honest about that. Damn. Sucks. I like the online play.
I never played the storyline. I just shot Jawas and Ewoks.
No, we played classic.
We played classic.
That online mode after fucking 3 years of waiting is amazing. So, Star Wars fan, go jump on it.
So, what is your opinion? Not being a super Star Wars fan, but what will you be looking forward to in the third season?
Well, I think that it would be great if they did introduce a bunch of new characters, but I do appreciate the fact that they probably will have cameos from everybody who was there before.
Yeah.
And I think that it's good because it kind of lets you check in with everybody and see what they're up to now, what they got going on. But it also gives room for new things to happen, so it's not just the same storyline all over again.
Yeah. That's what I was actually afraid of when Mandalorian first started, because I thought it was like, please don't let it just be about this now. And I think that was one of my fears of Baby Yoda, is because it's like, don't let it just be that, all about that. Like, I want him to be on different missions, and I want him to be on stupid stuff, but I don't want him to be like, I'm on this mission, but now I gotta protect the baby, and then I gotta run this mission, but I gotta protect. I want to see him go all out sometimes. I want to see him like not have to call back and be feared about anything.
Yeah, and be dad and worry about where his kid is and what's going on.
Yeah.
It would be cool to see him come back a little bit older and a little bit more independent so he can actually help the Mandalorian out, and then it would be great. It would be like Chewbacca, essentially. You have like that cute sidekick that's not really cute because figure it out.
I push your lungs for the elevator. You know?
Yeah.
Who knows if there's? Who knows if? Sorry. Who knows if there's any other of the? They still haven't name dropped the species yet.
No.
Don't.
They
Because-
never will.
I'd rather
Yeah.
have them not do
They're
it.
just
Yeah.
Yodas.
Just keep. It's okay to keep certain things a
They're all
mystery.
two of them. Look at all
What we can't deny, the child was in the temple, right? It was
Yeah.
on Coruscant.
Yeah.
They didn't show any other his species.
Yeah,
There's only 2 members of that species that was adult age.
yeah. The
To have-
woman and
Yaddle and Yoda.
you think she's the
That's
mom,
the baby.
and the mom and the
That's the
dad.
actual
Oh,
baby. That's
it is Baby Yoda.
Yeah, we put it
It
together.
is Baby Yoda.
If we had the call sound, I would hit that button. So I got to do it myself. But that was a great caller. That was
Get
great.
it on.
So,
No, but because
what do you?
I want
What's
to ask Paul a quick question because
What's
he's got the whole mythos in his freaking under his hat. No other references to that race, right?
No.
No home.
George
Just
Lucas made a
No.
thing. He said he does not want his species or anything to be known.
name, yeah.
I can appreciate that.
Me too, yeah.
So, what about you? What are you expecting from the 3rd season?
I think that they're gonna. I hope that they tastefully set up all the spin-offs. I hope that they do a lot of crossovers, not like the crappy, the way that network TV does it, where it's like on a very special episode of.
That's awesome.
No, what is it like?
Meet Sabrina.
No. They do like Fire 911, and then there's going to be a police show.
Oh
It's going
my
to cameo. I hope that they kind of do it tastefully and they kind of set up those shows and they kind of introduce, because then, once again, kind of like the way that the Marvel, the way that they do, the way that the Dark Universe failed, and
Yeah.
the way that
Oh my God.
so many of these other attempts at making this type of these multi-layered storylines. I just hope that they kind of set up those shows in a really good way, like. Kind of how they did callbacks where they went back and Gina Carano's character was the sheriff,
Yeah.
Yes.
and the way that they went back and Carl Weathers was he's like the bounty hunter,
Yeah.
so that he'll have to go in and when they're like getting ready to take Mandalore back, then it's like, oh, who do we have that can smuggle things?
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
we have the Boba Fett who took over the Hutts, the crime syndicate.
Mhm.
Oh, who do we have over here? Oh, we have a Republic ally. Like, I hope that they build a layered story like that, where there's so many different things.
Can I tell you what I think they already laid down one already? This one of the final episodes for what was it, the final episode? The season finale, season 2, the ancient Jedi temple that they're at.
Yeah.
They already set up old. Was it the new
Old Republic?
Oh, but they have a different name for
No,
it.
it's
what's the
movie? No, it's not.
I'm trying to
It's
think.
wow.
It's set like thousands of years before all the Star Wars and everything like that.
Yeah,
It's,
well,
it's
that-
Knights
it
of
was-
the Old Republic. The
Yeah,
the
that
yeah,
kind of
series.
thing with Dark.
which is one of a very popular
Well,
thing. Everybody wants
yeah.
Knights of the Old Republic.
I was telling him
Hell,
too.
that
This is one thing that I wish they set up, and I said instead of making it a show just on one, like Old Republic character,
yeah.
make a season, but it's an anthology. So you tell the story of Darth Bane, you tell the story of Revan in like an episode or two,
Yeah.
and then you just break it up. So it's not like this one season's just on one character.
that's
It's like you
true.
break it up.
Like, honestly, that will be the more refresher thing for the series of Star Wars. Like,
Yeah.
we know we got the books. We know we got what.
Yeah.
Listen, not everybody wants to fucking. No, give us a
It's
goddamn
true.
show, and like give us something like visual. Like yo,
But the book was so
That's-
much
that
better.
adds-
I mean, if you really,
Oh,
if
oh,
you're
yeah, trust
pretentious,
me,
the
we're
book
gonna
was
get
so much
those-
better.
the super crazy people about that. But at the end of the day, it'll just be cooler to see all these characters in the lore
Yeah.
that we know of and we never seen physically.
Yeah.
Will be amazing, and that will honestly refresh the franchise,
Well,
in my opinion.
There's only one thing about Star Wars, and I guess I'll cut, I'll cut
Just
this
keep
off
going,
soon. Fuck it. Yeah, we're going. Years.
Until
But
we're done, we ain't got shit to say.
have you ever? Because in the books, they mention holocrons so fucking
Yes.
much, and I felt like they tried to do it in the Rise of Skywalker movie with the
Yeah.
little thing, but
Yeah,
they
yeah.
never called it a holocron. And I was just like, they were so important because these little holocrons for people who don't know, are like information things that
There's a
Sith have and
supercomputer,
Jedi.
isn't it?
Yeah. So like someone will record basically their teachings or their thoughts or their this, and that's how they learn besides reading like scrolls and books and shit. And so you could see like, okay, we're talking about Darth Bane or whatever. There's a holocron of Darth Bane, and he's explaining why he's doing this or why he created the Rule of Two and teaching new moves or this or that. I was like, they never bring it up. Like, I know they tried, but I was just like, they never called it a holocron. They never put it out there.
I think they bring it up they do it in Clone Wars, the animated. I think it might come up in Rebels,
I
But
think
not
they
in the
did,
mainstream.
but not in
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
mainstream.
Nothing
So that's a really
mainstream.
good point.
Yeah.
Because the movies are just vehicles to get the casual crowd that not really into it,
Definitely.
just to get them in, because they know we're gonna support the rest of it. And
Sell
everything.
toys. Sell toys.
Well,
Oh my God.
Sell toys.
Listen,
Yeah.
Disney will put their products on fruit.
Yeah.
They'll just like partner up with Dole and be like, all right, have some Jedi oranges and some Sith bananas, and you're good.
It's all. It is all about marketing, though. For that aspect, like I was not alive in 1974, but I remember in like mid 90s, like the
VHS
remastered version of it, and it was like everybody had the little Chewbacca toys and all these small. And then I watch documentaries. I'm like, oh, these toys are. I'm like 20-something years ago, like, and I'm over here like thinking this shit is fresh. Like that's how it works, but that's what it is.
Yo, there is a super fan service. I forgot to mention this one. There was a very obscure toy that got put into the show. It was that stormtrooper carrier that hovered over the desert, and they were standing on the side of the walls and everything like that. That was some cheesy 70s toy that was nowhere near anything that was stolen except a toy.
Yeah.
And they put that in the show.
See, that's what I was telling him that, and I know we're going off tangent, but
Yeah.
the DC movies fucking miss.
You
Every-
just went right to DC though. That's very awesome.
No, because I'm saying like, I was going
Let
to
him reference.
All the franchises.
No,
damn
because
it.
I'm going
He's
to
the
like
reference police.
I'm going to like the Marvel movies where that's why not only like my brother never read a comic book in his fucking life, but he'll go and he's excited talking to me about the movies.
Yeah.
And when I go to the movie theater, I see the shit that not everyone sees. Like where we were talking about, like one of the stupid ones was the in the
But we
Infinity
talked
War,
about it in
the Ant-Man
first episode
original
of
helmet,
Wonder Woman,
Yes.
and you see it in the past, and it's like only fans would be like,
I have
that's
to
it.
cut him off here because I've been there when he's done this. We stay for the after credit scenes,
Yeah.
and then Nikki already kind of knows because he cheats and he sees if there's anything that's released. But then he stands up and explains to everyone, and people will ask him. They'll be like, "Who is that?" He goes, "Okay," and then he breaks it down, and he does a great public service by explaining to all the casual people that are just getting interested in it.
That's his superpower. Honestly, like, if you were shy or whatever, like Nick goes to the movies not just for the movie, but just to swing his like. I'm gonna show you that I know more than you. Yeah, like you got a Marvel shirt on, but you ain't know. I'm Nick, and I'm gonna tell you.
I'm
this.
Yeah. I never go to the movies for some reason, like with a super, like a Marvel fan, because I've been like a couple times where, I think even the first Iron Man, when we stayed for the after credit scene and you see Samuel L. Jackson, I was like, oh shit! And then the people behind me's like, who's that? I was like, it's fucking Nick Fury. But they made him black because of, I had to say why he's black instead of white and all that shit.
So who directed that?
John
Which one?
Favreau.
Oh, was it? Oh, he also directed The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Which is what we're talking about today.
You are happy. You make us as
So
fans
I just
happy.
want to throw this out. This is something I just recently read, and I think it's really, really interesting that when he went to go make Iron Man, he had it made an action movie.
Oh.
I didn't even know he was doing movies.
And-
Yeah, of course.
Honestly.
And they basically went to him and they said, I don't think they had any confidence in him. And then he said, okay, and they gave him a chance, and he kind of did the trailer. And kind of to the point that everyone's spoken on was the fan service, because that's what's really driving it. I understand back when we were kids, it was about the toys and about getting the mass. Oh, we gotta put butts in chairs. It's different now.
Yeah.
Because now they're catering. So he did the trailer for Iron Man, They used Iron Man the song by Black Sabbath, and they did the Mark I, which from the comic books, the old rinky dink, thing.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh, here's all the money we have, make a universe."
Yeah.
And look what he came up. Look what they did, and he did that based on fans knowing their reaction to that trailer. It's almost like the Deadpool trailer that mysteriously dropped.
The random leak trailer.
The leak trailer, and then all of a sudden now it's amazing. It's just it all came down to him making that movie when nobody really had. I don't think the studio wasn't even behind him. They were like, "What do you know about this? You were in You were in Rudy. You had 12 minutes in Rudy.
Oh my god!
Like, what else did you do? Oh, you were in another movie. You were in what was it, Diner, Slinger, or something? Yeah. And it was like that. He's like, "No, actually, I make movies." And they were like, "You don't know how to make an action movie." And he's like, "Hold my beer."
Watch me.
Yeah.
But more importantly, Angelo, who directed that movie?
Was it Jon Favreau?
The same guy who.
Oh, was it the same guy that directed The Mandalorian?
The Mandalorian.
Oh, what a great tie back to the topic that we're talking about.
All right. Well, we're going to call it a wraps because we've been going on for a long time, but I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know if you got any social media to promote, but if you want to, you could say it.
Paul Dorian Photography. Just type that up anywhere, you find me.
Gina Bliss on Instagram and pretty much the entire internet. You can just type it in on Google too.
I have a lot, so I'm not going to remember them right now. I'm not going to but I will be spamming yours. So when you see a random, hey, it's Psych Beyond Psych from Twitter, yeah, watch us on YouTube, listen to us on SoundCloud, most likely soon Spotify. Trying to just get out there to everything. So this link, hit like, subscribe, follow, holla. We just here trying to have fun.
Yeah.
It's nothing. We have no allegiances. Nothing. We just out here. Let's go.
Like you said, Facebook, YouTube,
MySpace.
SoundCloud.
No.
Not MySpace. Twitter.
You can reach me at MySpace. You can reach me at Grindr. You can reach me at.
Please chat
we
with
don't
me
want
at
to
AOL.com.
Oh my God.
AOL. I got a new CD in the mail, and I got a few more minutes.
See,
I
this
can
is
put
what
on.
I get for making fun of references.
Yeah. All right, well, hope you guys have fun. Have a good one. Peace.